Let's get some analysis on this one. Paul Smith joins us, Head of French and Francophone Studies at the University of Nottingham. Paul, always a pleasure to have you on the programme. Zemmour used hateful language against vulnerable, desperate people. Are you surprised that someone with his track record and someone who's capable of this is able to run for president here in France?
Well, I think somebody of that sort of caliber could run for election pretty much anywhere. What we're seeing is somebody who's prepared to say these things openly, and he's doing it, of course, because, I mean, this isn't new, but it's not a new case as you've underlined, but he's really trying to demarcate himself from his rivals in the presidential race.
Migrant groups, Paul, are calling for him to be banned from running.
Yes, well, I think that the due process won't necessarily allow that. One can understand their anger, and at least now we don't have to, play around the area. We can call Zemmour what he is, which is a racist candidate, but I don't think that that's going to make very much difference to his potential supporters, because I think that everybody knew that this is what he's about, and so there's a hardcore there which, they're willing to support him in the way that other voters once upon a time in another place would have supported Donald Trump, almost irrespective of what he said.
Indeed. Hear what you're saying about that one. Does Zemmour represent then, here in France, the way the country is divided? Is he symbolic of that?
No, I don't think so. I think he's symbolic of one minority point of view. I mean, that's a really important thing to understand, and that this is not, in a sense, he's a candidate who's always been talked up by the media because he's been a little bit interesting, he's been provocative, and that's the way these things develop. But he's falling away in the polls. One of the things he's been doing over the last week is to kind of, as I mentioned earlier, make himself look more radical than Le Pen, for example, to demarcate himself from her, because actually it's going the other way for him. He's dropping back into fourth, and to be serious, this is the big fight is on for second behind Macron, and to be a serious contender, he needs to claw some of that back. Otherwise, he's going to just keep slipping away.
Paul Smith, Head of French and Francophone Studies at the University of Nottingham. Thank you so very much indeed for joining us and sharing your analysis on this case regarding Eric Zemmour, far-right candidate, who's been convicted here in Paris of inciting racial hatred because of remarks he made last year about unaccompanied migrant children coming to France. Paul Smith, thank you very much indeed.